Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another fine edition of It's Just About Time. And in today's episode I will be looking not at the Omega Seamaster 300M No Time to Die, I will instead be looking at the Felida, not quite 300M, not quite No Time to Die, a much cheaper alternative to the Omega version. Now this is their fourth version of this watch. There have been a few, and every time they do a new rev they improve it quite drastically. So the case design was always pretty much spot on for the Sedna class Omega Seamasters, which was what they came out with in 2018. And they've even recently improved the helium escape valve, they've improved the crown here, and everything about it is pretty spot on. The only thing that's really stopping this from being the No Time to Die watch, like absolute like super clone, is the thickness of the sapphire. The sapphire dome on the actual watch is very high because it's got a real vintage look about it. This one is still domed, but it's more like the actual Seamasters that you get just with the Sedna class. But they have improved the color scheme on this thing. The bezel is absolutely gorgeous. This matte look is so much better than the ceramic look. I don't particularly care for ceramic anyway. I feel like it's too shiny and blingy, whereas this is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's exactly like the No Time to Die color scheme. And even the dial itself, I mean, you got like the military marking, the crow's foot, which is kind of nice there, and the hands obviously are very much, well, I say inspired, I mean, they're pretty much the hands of an Omega Seamaster. And as you can see though, there we got a nice big Felida written on this. You can buy this as a sterile dial, which means that there's no markings whatsoever, but I kind of prefer this. So let's have a quick look-see at the watch itself, see what we've got. And as we can see here, we've got, well, I mean, I've just explained the dial and the bezel. The bezel is a really nice 120 click bezel. It's not this weird 90 click thing that they usually do on these cheapy watches. So yeah, here we have a proper 120 click, which I like very much. You've got a modified helium escape valve, so this is now more in line with the actual Sedna class Seamasters, so it's the conical shape rather than flat. This crown, well, the main crown has been improved, so it's no longer too flat. The biggest problem you had with the old ones is that they used to be so short that winding them would be a pain in the ass. And if we pull that out and we get it into winding position, winding this thing feels really good, and we'll get into why in a moment, and it's because of the movement that it has in there, but that's really nice. And this also has hacking seconds, proper hacking seconds this time, so this actually does the job properly, and I really like that. So you've got a screw down crown, just gonna put that back in, and the back is similar to the No Time to Die watch, but basically it is without any markings, so you know, I guess it's you could engrave it if you wanted to pay the extra. Now the movement that's in this is the PT5000. This is a Chinese-made movement, which is essentially a clone of an ETA 2824, but it's been done really, really well. This watch absolutely rocks, and it is amazing to think that this is the first Chinese movement that has received an ISO chronometer certificate, which is incredible. They've made such a good copy that this thing is now chronometer certified. Now, this particular watch does not have a chronometer certificate, you know, just like not every ETA 2824 or 2892 is a chronometer certified movement. But the point is, this movement is good enough to be in that class. So you could take this along to a watchmaker and say, hey, can you, you know, tune this up and pimp it out? And they could tune it up to work within chronometer standards. Amazing. And you feel it when you wind the watch. It's got a really beautiful wind to it. I really you know, appreciate the fact that this thing just really rocks, and it feels so good to wear. I mean, a lot of that, of course, it owes to its design elements from the Omega Seamaster. I mean, it's not like they've created an original watch here. I mean, they really are, you know, going full-on homage. But give them credit where credit is due. As homages go, this has been masterfully done. It's just a really genuinely beautiful watch, and you know what the funny thing is, if the biggest question on your mind is, does this scratch the itch to make you not want to buy the real thing? For me, this absolutely does. I really, really wanted to buy that real thing, even though there's just no way. There's no way I can afford that price point. Like $14,000 is just ridiculous. Half of that money I still couldn't afford. Like if it cost $6,000-7,000, I'd be like, oh. But even then, it's too much. Like if you're considering like how long could I go without food? It's like how much homelessness can I risk over a watch? Now I realize it's a luxury class watch. The people that this is aimed at is people to whom $14,000 is barely pocket change. But at the same time, this is one of the things I love about Steinhardt, which is a watchmaker you may or may not have heard of, and I have one, and I'm going to review that soon. I have a Steinhardt Ocean 1 GMT, which in of itself is a bit of a homage of the GMT Master 2 from Rolex. But the design philosophy behind Steinhardt is, and I quote, "Everyone deserves a Swiss watch at an affordable price." And they absolutely live up to that because they deliver really nice watches, sub $1,000. They cost a bit more because they do have really good, solid, genuine Swiss movements in them, like an ATA 2893 for their GMT, which is a beautiful movement. I mean, yes, it's not pimped out with extra, decoration and all that kind of stuff, but still an amazing movement. And for its price point, it's just, you can't say bad about that. So I'll be reviewing one of those in the future. But this watch is really down to, like, do you want the No Time to Die watch? And if you can't afford it, what's your options? Well, let's take a quick look-see at Bleiger. So this is the first version of the Bleiger watch that came out. Now this is the one that sort of got me interested in Parnis and other sort of homage watches, because I saw this on eBay, and I was just a bit blown away by the the sheer audacity of these people to produce a watch that looked just like an Omega Seamaster, and of course its color scheme is not anywhere near accurate to the actual No Time to Die watch. That wasn't really my criteria for buying it. I was just genuinely curious as to what this was all about, and if it was any good. The movement inside here is a Miyota 8215, which I hate with a burning passion that just like burns with the heat of 1,000 suns. It's an awful movement. It's so cheap and nasty, and when you wind it, in fact, I'll try and let you hear this. Hang on, I'll put this next to the mic. It's just so scratchy. It's like, oh god, no, stop. It's like nails on a chalkboard. And as you can see there, the crown is so short and stubby, it's actually kind of hard to dig it out of the recess there. But I'll give it its dues. It's a nice little watch. This it has this weird 90 click bezel, and if you don't believe me about the 90 click, because usually the click wheel is 60 or 120, but you just listen to this. So okay, we're gonna go by 10 markings. So if it was 60, there'd be 10 clicks. If it was 120, there'd be 20. So listen, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You see that? 15. So 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. So a 90 click wheel, but you don't tend to notice it. You just kind of think, oh yeah, it's just like it's 60 or 120. I mean, and of course, you can easily position it. Even though it's 90 click, which means it's not properly fitting around the hour markings or even the minute markings, but you never notice it because there's a bit of play in the bezel, and you're like, oh, whatever, who's going to care? I like bezels because I use them to time my lunch break at work and various other little things. So, I mean, obviously they're meant for divers, but no one's using these watches for diving, believe me. But anyway, so 90 click bezel, which a lot of these cheaper Chinese watches have. And that's, again, something I really like about that, the fact that this has a proper 120 click bezel, which is most welcome. And with this particular version, they've changed the date wheel to have white text on black background, whereas the previous versions of this had the opposite. So, it would kind of interfere with the design ethic of the face. I mean, the actual watch doesn't have a date complication at all. So, including a date, it gives it just a little something extra that I kind of like. You don't need it, but it's nice to have it. and you know, there's some writing on it and stuff, but it's like it's all just designed to look good for show. This is a 200 meter rated watch. They've improved that over 100 meters. I don't know what they did to improve it, because it's the exact same case, so I just assume that the sapphire is perhaps a bit thicker or whatever, and maybe they've improved the seals on the case back and the two crowns. Just to show you, I've put this on this rather nice Hirsch leather strap. I like this strap just because it's just, you know, nice and vintage looking. So let's discuss cost. Now, this watch comes with the PT 5000 movement. Now this, as I've discussed before, is a Chinese-made movement. The movement itself is capable of chronometer status. Not that this particular one has that, but still a really good, well-made movement. Which I really appreciate myself, because that's the part of the reason to buy this particular watch. And this watch is available with a Miyota movement. Now, it doesn't say which one, but I'm guessing it's the infamous and horrible 8215. I guess maybe there's versions of the 8215 which are actually not bad, but most of the ones I've ever encountered just have the scratchiest wind, and you know, they're supposed to have hacking seconds, but it usually doesn't work. So I don't know, I find that a lot of those are assembled very badly. They don't have much quality control. This movement, now I'm guessing that it has a bit more quality control, because you're spending more on the movement. They simply cost more. There's probably more quality control at the plant. I can't back that up with any evidence, but but just from feeling it wind, I feel like this watch actually is a much better watch for it. So definitely worth picking this up with the PT 5000 movement. It costs about $70 to $80 more than you would pay for the Miyota version, but you know what, if you're going to buy a watch like this and you want it to emulate a good watch, I don't see the reason not to spring for the extra cost, so that you've got a movement which is likely to last. And that's, you know, if you Google search, you know, some information on the PT 5000 movement, I think you'll actually be genuinely surprised at the positive reception it's had. A lot of people are like, yeah, you know, why are we bitching over the heritage and the birthplace of these movements, when realistically what we should be doing is discussing the quality of these movements. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with Miyota as a movement company. I mean, they produce a very fine 9015 movement, which can be found in a lot of luxury watches. It's an expensive movement. It's on par with an ETA. And in terms of performance, yeah, you know, they're all capable of it. Now, okay, if you're going by chronometer certified, there's not too many. But again, the PT 5000 is a chronometer ready movement, so no excuses. And this watch costs $220 versus thousands of dollars. And this watch feels real good. Of course, it owes that to Omega, because the design, it's simply an Omega when it comes right down to the case design, so of course it's going to feel good for that. Now, this does come with the bracelet, you know, this sort of faux Seamaster bracelet, which is not that great. It looks like a Seamaster bracelet, but it lacks any of the polish and finishing of the real thing, as you'd expect. I mean, at the end of the day, this bracelet costs pennies compared to the real thing. So yeah, you know, take that for what it's worth. Now, I do recommend getting it with the bracelet, just so that you have it, because at the end of the day, it's only a couple of dollars more, but you can buy it on a NATO. And in my case, I always had the idea to put it on a leather strap anyway, just because I kind of like this color combination. But yeah, the bracelet is it's okay. It's not great. It is a bit of a hair tugger, and I find that if I wear it for, you know, a certain amount of time in the day, if I take it off, there'll be like some sort of like black coloring going on, so I don't know what that's about. If there's like, I don't know, some copper in there, which is kind of weird because it should be steel. I don't know. Either way, it's not a high quality bracelet, so take that for what it is worth. I get the feeling that Felida is going to wipe the floor with Omega when it comes to this particular watch, because they're going to sell loads of these things. And this is it's a gorgeous watch. You put it on your wrist, I swear to God, you'll be like, wow, this thing rocks. And if I ever had any inkling to buy the real thing, It's gone. I don't care anymore, because why would I spend that much money on this thing? Even if you manage to find that thing secondhand at a reasonable cost is going to be like $11,000 as opposed to 14. I mean, it's no, you could do so much more with that money. You could buy, I can't even imagine how many of these you could buy for that price. Not that you'd want to buy more than one, or maybe you'd want to buy two, but like, I think you know where I'm going with this. Cost effective wise, and from a standpoint of quality, this watch is amazing value for money. I stand by what I say here. This is not only a good watch, this is a great watch. And with the PT 5000 movement, I don't think you're making a bad choice with this. Now, I will qualify this by just saying that obviously there's a lot less quality assurance that's involved in these watches. I mean, you buy an Omega, you're gonna, you know that what you're gonna get is perfect. You buy one of these, it might have some problems with it. it might have, but I've bought a couple of these things now, not just this watch, but like obviously other Parnis watches and things, which I'm going to review also, and all of them have been mostly okay, with a couple that have had a few quirks which haven't been exactly hard to work out. But yeah, what I want to say about this is that this particular watch, this Felida, this is an amazing watch. Great value for money, really good quality. I mean, and I'm going by this one that's in my possession. I can't go by the entire run of them because I've no idea, but this one right here is amazing. So I can only say go check out their website at AliExpress, or check them out on eBay. And if you're interested in this watch, buy it without hesitation. Their customer service is excellent. They deliver real quick, and it's cheap. I mean, okay, $220 is not like super cheap, but for the PT 5000 movement, I absolutely recommend springing for the extra difference, because you will be very happy, I think, with this movement. Over any other cheaper movement, definitely worthwhile getting this one. So thank you all very much for watching my review of the Felida No Time to Die watch. I think this is an amazing watch, and I have quite a few other watches in store to review for you, not least of which is the Steinhardt Ocean One GMT, but also two varieties of the Vermont Supermarine, an S500 and an S2000. Now, the S2000, I'd like to point this out right now because it's not getting much views. I have a video which I uploaded about 2 months ago now, which is a detailed look at the S2000. Please go check it out, because I put a lot of effort into that video, and it is total watch porn, and I'm going to be reviewing that watch in the future as well, but please give it a view, because I think that video deserves it. I'm not saying I deserve it, I'm saying the video deserves it, because it came out looking really good and I'm very proud of it. So check out my video list for other reviews and videos that I've done, and yeah, particularly the S2000, and I will be reviewing more watches in the future. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.